let's start in the near term and what you are seeing in the markets today. I mean, I think there were some participants who were surprised to see the market perhaps not expecting an Omicron case in the U.S., even despite the Biden administration and many public health officials saying it was all but inevitable. So how do you think the market is coming to terms with this, and how do you think it plays out over the course of the next week and the next month?
At the moment, it feels like a bit of a lose-lose scenario from the market's perspective. If you have Omicron and it spreads a lot, then you have risks on growth. And if you don't have, or if symptoms are milder and it doesn't have an impact on growth, then you have a Fed that could be tightening more aggressively. But I think we're going to sort of play that out over the coming days. I do think that growth momentum is strong, is going to stay strong into 2022, that we're going to see any effect you have from Omicron this month pushed with growth pushed back into 2022, the first quarter. We've seen companies and consumers really adapt to every new variant that's arrived. And so markets need to digest this a little bit. We need more information about Omicron and how it reacts with vaccines, and how it is with severe illnesses. But once the market processes that, I think we're going to be moving higher again.
Well, we've seen in some of the early data from Europe that the head of Europe's CDC equivalent said that the majority, if not all of the cases of Omicron that have popped up there have seen mild or no symptoms whatsoever. Is that an early positive indicator in your view that perhaps this is a much more mild version of the virus and it could lead to more herd immunity globally?
Absolutely. It's one way of looking at it. I think the sample size right now is still a little bit small to make that kind of assessment. I think as it spreads, we're going to have more data and a better idea of how it reacts. It does seem that the initial indications are that, with your 2 or even 3 doses of a vaccine, severe illness should be avoided. So yes, we're moving closer towards herd immunity. I think in general, at some point, we're moving more from a pandemic to an endemic situation. This is clearly going to be with us for quite some time. We've learned to live with it better. We've learned to fight it better. But of course, if it is a milder version, then that can only be seen as a positive.
How do you see this impacting inflation? We're just getting to the point where some of the supply chain logjams are beginning to ease. Factories are back online. The process seems to be getting smoother. But do you expect factories to close again in certain parts of the world, labor shortages to pop up again, and perhaps prices to go even higher for some goods?
I think that's probably one of the risks, mainly because China is very adamantly sticking with its zero COVID policy. And if Omicron is more transmissible as it looks like it is, and it does spread into China somehow, then you could have renewed delays in terms of production and shipping coming out of China. So we have to keep an eye on the Asia story and China in particular. Otherwise, I think anecdotally speaking, steel is becoming more accessible, semiconductors are becoming more accessible, some of the shipping backlog is starting to improve. The ISM prices paid and the backlog are both sort of moving downwards, which is encouraging. So it's going to take months for this to improve, but it does seem like we're on the right track.